Official name is Washboard Chaz, Chaz Leary. I play washboard for a living. Been playing for the last 40 years. Been playing music for oh, about 58 years. And I currently reside in New Orleans for the last 14 years.
How did you start playing the washboard?
I played hand percussion first, and among other things I did, I played hand percussion. Then I met a fellow in Florida in Key West in '71, and I learned from him. And we gave each other lessons, and I still play washboard. We don't play congas anymore.
How did you meet him?
This one, I saw him playing in the club. He was a friend of a friend, and I saw him playing in the club, and I said, man, I really like that guy. I've seen the washboard before in the village when I was a kid, but I really didn't get captured by it until I saw him play it.
What was it about seeing him?
Just how smoothly it went, how smoothly he went along, and how he added to the song so well. You know, it was like he was playing it like a drum, which kind of like I hadn't really seen it being played before. And so that's kind of where I got my ideas of playing it like a drum and stuff. Yeah.
As a kid, did you listen to a lot of music with washboards?
Not really. Like I said, I saw the washboards in Washington Square Park back in the mid '60s and stuff, but I never really listened to a lot of washboard uh, before I started picking it up. Then I started listening to like Washboard Sam and various other washboard artists from the 30s and 40s. But it wasn't until I picked it up that I really started listening to more washboard players.
And what kind of music is your favorite now to play?
Well, I like all kinds. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I got a blues trio with washboard guitar, harmonica. I have a rock band with sousaphone and guitar, and that's called a Tin Man. I have a traditional jazz band, and we play traditional New Orleans jazz. And that's got clarinet, trumpet, and trombone, guitar, and upright bass, and myself. Then I got a Western swing band. I lived in Colorado for a long time. And we had twin fiddles and acoustic bass and guitar and myself. So I mean, I can't really say which one I like playing more. I mean, all the bands give me great satisfaction and let me have my outlet for the kinds of music I like to play. Yeah.
What are some of the first songs that you learned to play?
Wow. I don't know. It's kind of hard to remember. I know when I first actually really started playing it, I learned it in Florida, and I was there for a few months. No, I was there about half a year. Then I went back to Connecticut, and I was playing in a country rock band. I used to play like two songs a night on the watch. I played congas in the band. I used to play like two songs a night in the country rock band. So I can't really remember what the first was. I know when I really was getting interested in it, I started listening to a lot of the bebop players and drummers from the '40s, Kenny Clark and Max Roach, and people like that. And so that's who I really patterned myself after. That's where I got my inspiration to kind of advance the musicality of the washboard. So I play like a jazz drummer now.
That's awesome. So since you've lived in New Orleans and since you've played around here, how have you seen the music scene change?
Well, it's here on the street here. It's the street is kind of it just evolved to like one of the music centers of New Orleans now. 'Cause when I first came here, they had a couple of revivals before, but when I came here in the end of 2000, it was pretty much desolate around here. They had a few clubs. They had this club, and they had Snug Harbor and the Apple Barrel. Spotted Cat just opened up, but there wasn't much music over there. And I just seen it evolve to the point, especially after the storm, where this is this street here has gotten real more popular. We have an influx of younger musicians moving into town that enter traditional jazz, and they play a lot. And we have, I mean, some of the musicians got displaced. So many musicians got displaced after the storm, and never been able to come back. So we lost some of our Mardi Gras Indians and some of our icons and stuff like that. But we still, I think what's happening is we're still having a younger group of people that are still trying to take up the old tradition. So I think all that stuff will survive. But this up and down the street, I just see the music scene here has just exploded like 300%, really.
Now, have you experienced a lot of younger people learning the washboard specifically, or?
Yeah, I've seen a fair amount. It's probably about uh, 10 or 12 of them walking around with Washboard stuff. And I was just in, I was in Tokyo, and I was playing with my band, the Tin Man, the rock band. We played a jug band festival in Yokohama. They have it. This is the 14th annual, I think it was, and they've been trying to get me over there for years. And it finally happened, and there was like 25 Washboard players, and like couple small little kids like that. And we had a big old jamboree at the end. That was pretty fun. But no, I see more interest in the washboard in the last 20, 30 years than it has been, in quite a while.
Why do you think that is?
It's portable. It's not difficult to play. It can be difficult to master, but you can get some rhythms on it pretty fairly. Like I said, it's portable. You see a lot of kids just traveling. That they travel on trains and trains and hitchhiking, and that's a very portable thing. And I just think there's some people that's finding the intricacies of the board and trying to go and try to use it as such, as like a drum set, like I'm saying. So I think people get interested in the simplicity yet the complexity of it.
What's like the big tip that you would give to like people learning the washboard?
Play along to music you like, and I just start by tapping, and just start strumming, and then play along to find some of the early washboard play like Washboard Sam, Washboard Willie. Go on YouTube, and those guys don't have too many videos of them from the 30s and 40s for sure, but they may have a few from the 60s. But go find, and I got videos out there, and I said, well, go find their songs and try to emulate what they're doing, and then work on top of that and go farther beyond that. But that's how I would say to do it.
Do people ever call you up and ask for a little lesson?
Yeah, but I don't give lessons.
No?
No. No, I've tried it first, and then people, I was doing it, and I was like, people say, oh, this is hard. I don't know what to do. And it's like, yeah, you're wasting my time. I got too much other stuff doing today. I do the blues workshop in Port Townsend, Washington. I do that about every other year. So I'll be going there this year at the end of July, the first week of August. And I enjoy that because there are people there that are really interested in washboard, and they play in some small bands back then. It's kind of a hobby for some, for sure, but it's really something they like to do, so they kind of expand their repertoire. So I enjoyed giving them. And that one time I was there was 3 washboard players, which was cool because they had all played different style. I played straight up and down. One guy played on the lap. One guy played sideways. And that was, it was good. So good. They got a different, because they got 3 different ways of playing the board and how to make it sound like that.
Now, what kind of washboard was your first washboard?
What kind of what now?
What kind of board was your first washboard? Do you remember?
It was a Columbus washboard, and I used to get them at flea markets and yard sales. Then I used to get them at hardware stores, and then I just started ordering from the company. These 2 sisters from Columbus, Ohio, bought the company and revitalized it, and started making boards again. They started making. I was using something they call special metal, which was kind of like a softer metal. Then they started making a stainless steel one, which was good for me because when I first came down there, I was playing on Jack and Square with Tuba Fats and his brass band, so I had to play a little bit louder. So I got used to those, and that was good because they lasted a lot longer. Before, I used to go through them in about 2 weeks. Yeah, I go on the road. I had to take like 2 or 3 with me, just to change up. And now I'll go through the wood before I go through the metal at all. Before you put it in it, but I buy 500 thimbles a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I go through thimbles a lot more than loud because it's a lot harder metal. But I go through like 500 thimbles a year.
That's amazing. So do you wear a thimble on each finger? Or?
No, I wear them on these 2 here.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that just feels comfortable for me.
Nobody ever told you to do it that way?
No. And I think the guy I learned from, I think he wore them on 3. I just felt more comfortable like that. Because, you got to play, you got to do what makes it comfortable for you. Because a lot of people they'll use gloves with thimbles on them, they use picks, they use the Zydeco players, they use can openers or things like that. Because they got that big chessboard and things like that. You've probably seen them when you're out there in Lafayette, yeah. And it's a different style of playing than what I play. And I usually don't play with a drummer. I very rarely play with a drummer. I'm like the drummer. But yeah, and like I said, it's the kind of instrument that you can play with what you want. You can put on what you want. I got two cans, a wool block, and a hotel bell. And people put on cymbals, cowbells, xylophones. They put a whole bunch of. Sometimes you put too much crap on there. It's kind of like, you don't need like a 20-piece drum kit like the guy from Rush has. I mean, Charlie Watts still does one tom, one floor tom, snare drum, two cymbals, and a ride, and that's it. He powers the Rolling Stones with that. So,
That's all you need. Who do you find usually puts too much stuff on there?
what's that now?
What sorts of people do you usually find with like too much stuff on their washboard?
Amateurs. They kind of like get into the honking, kind of like the get into the novelty of it instead of the seriousness of the making music of it.
Sounds like more like a comedy show.
Yeah, exactly. They have the festival up in Columbus, Ohio, and they want me to come up there to do it. And I was like, man, that'd be like my version of hell, being around with that many people. And the one in Tokyo, in Yokohama, was fun because they were pretty accomplished players. I was really surprised how good they were playing. I had a little jazz stuff going on. They had a lot of good movements for that. And the same thing with some of the Zydeco players. They're really good players and stuff. But when you get too many people that put too much stuff on, it's kind of like, you go online, you see like the hokiness of it.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Now, when you travel, do you find that your music is received differently in other places than it is in New Orleans?
In a way, I mean, in New Orleans they know what I do, and they're used to it. In the other places, they may not never seen a washboard being played. But I've traveled extensively throughout Europe. I've been to Italy and Germany and Holland, and I'm going to England for the first time in September. And I've been to the Caribbean, Far East, and people tend to pick it up. I think the thing about music is that it's a universal language. I played in places like in Italy, small little villages, like about 700 people, 500 people, and half of them came out, and only like 3 people spoke English in the whole town, but they could nod along to what I was doing, and they got a sense of what was going on.
So is that really gratifying to you?
What's that?
Is that very gratifying to you to be somewhere else?
Oh yeah, very gratifying. I mean, that's. I don't travel as much as I used to. I'm getting tired that I don't jump in the van and travel all over the place anymore. But I do like to get out and just have people see us and see what I do and enjoy the music that me and my compadres make. So yeah, that is fun. But I tell you, travel is a big pain, man.
I believe it.
It's a big pain.
Yeah, we're starting to realize.
So starting to realize that, huh?
Yeah. Well, we've also got no air conditioner in the car, so it's a big thing for us. Yeah. I'm actually not sure I really have any more questions, but if
Okay.
there's anything you'd like to add.
Oh, I'd just like to thank you all for coming and going up and down the parts of the South and getting some interesting takes on people's music and bringing it back to the college and putting it in the library so people can see it, 50, 60 years from now and figure out this is what was happening here. It's just kind of like what the Lomax kids did, They went and they documented this stuff because it would never been documented, And I've got more documentation now in the last few years, but it's always good to see how it keeps developing and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys play instruments at all?
I'm learning, but I'm pretty bad.
What instrument?
I'm learning to play the guitar
Uh-huh.
a little bit, and I tried to pick up the harmonica. As a kid, I played the piano, but man, I'm just really not a good musician. For my schoolwork, I do a little composing.
Oh, okay.
I'm all right at that, but I really can't play what I write.
But yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Some of the biggest songwriters can't play what they write that well neither. You'd be surprised. They can get by on the piano a little bit, but they're not really musicians. But they can hear that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you can hear it and put it down and know how to write music, you hear it and put it down. That's just as good as playing it.
Now, do you find that a lot of, do you read music?
No, I read music. It's more of an instinctual thing, and then you communicate instinctually with your other partners. But it's you're feeling it from here instead of so much from here. If that makes any sense.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would counsel people to learn how to play music for sure. I mean, learn how to read music because that's very helpful, very very helpful. But if you don't, you know, it's not the end of the world. 'Cause I started out on a German bugle corps, and when I was 8, and I started out on the bugles, valve bugle, but I couldn't read music. So what I had to do was memorize everything, and that served me well. Cause now I can remember arrangements from 30, 40 years ago. I can anticipate what's going to happen because I had to learn how to anticipate what was going on. So I can anticipate what my bandmates are going to do because we're in an improvisational situation, backing up his solo or something along those lines. I can kind of improvise better, I think, by not learning how to read music. Because like you get like classical musicians, some of them, they can't improvise to save their life. You know? They can read their ass off, but you know, they can't really improvise. Let's say, okay, try this. Oh, if it's not written out, they don't know how to do it, which is kind of sad in a way. I would think something. I mean, because these are great musicians, you know. But you know, some of the good ones, like Yo-Yo Ma, people like that, they can improvise their butt off. But some of them really just, you get them up here and they say, no, I can't do that. You write this stuff out for me. Then you write it out, and they'll look at it, sight read, easy peasy.
I guess there's really a freedom to not having to and not being able to read.
Yeah, but there's also freedom in that. There's also freedom in be able to do it and then able to let go of it. I would think, you know what I mean.